Peace is the path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. On the news this evening, 9 passengers abducted along Bonny Waterway freed. Police investigate woman accused of child trafficking in Rivers State. Inmates escape Maiduguri Correctional Center following heavy flooding. On the foreign scene, Malaysian police rescue minors suspected of being sexually abused at Islamic charity home. I am Kalada Korubato. A quick commercial break. When we come back, the news in detail. Nine passengers who were abducted along the Bonny Waterway 2 weeks ago have been released. The chairman of the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria, River State Chapter, Israel Waribo Pepple, made this known in an interview with correspondent Mekotika. Mr. Waribo Pepple called on the Nigerian Navy and Marine Police to provide better security along waterways leading to coastal communities in the state. He said naval presence is only visible on the Bonny Waterway, leaving other routes vulnerable to pirate attacks. He said the situation is affecting marine transport.
We are not talking only about Bonny. We are talking of the road between Akukotoru, between Aponima to Kula. We expect the security people there too to show their presence on the river. So after the attack on that girl that lost her life, a girl that was going to write her exam at the Ignatius Ajuru University, that lost her life, that was hit by their bullet. We had another attack of boat last week from a boat coming from Kula to Aponima. There was another attack, but that one they did not succeed, but they succeeded in going away with the boat and the engine.
The River State Police Command says investigations are still ongoing into the case of a woman alleged to be involved in child trafficking in Ozoba community, Obiakpa local government area. Public Relations Officer of the command, Grace Ringa Koko, told correspondent Mikhail Takat that the command is collaborating with the Akwa Ibom State Police Command to ensure other members of the syndicate are arrested and prosecuted under the child trafficking law. SP Ringe Koko confirmed that the woman is in the custody of the Akwa Ibom State Police Command. Recalled that the woman was arrested last Saturday after police traced the child from Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, to a 2-bedroom apartment in Ozoba, where several other children were also found. The Deputy Director of the Socio-Economic Rights Accountability Project, SERAP, Kolawole Oluwadare, says the organization will file a public interest lawsuit at the Federal High Court to compel President Bola Tinubu to comply with its request to direct the reversal of the fuel pump price and probe allegations of corruption against the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. The Deputy Director said this today following the invasion of SERAP's Abuja office by the DSS on Monday. He said they will not be intimidated by the federal government's actions. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has vowed to disrupt terrorist financing networks by monitoring banking transactions and cutting off funds to bandits. EFCC Chairman Ola Olukoyede made this commitment through its representative Director of Public Affairs Directorate, Wilson Ujaren, at the 2024 Annual Civil Military Conference at the National Defense College, Abuja. He explained that by blocking illicit funds, the Commission hopes to reduce the financial incentives for these criminal activities. He also said that to achieve this goal, the FCC will work closely with the armed forces. Away from that, ahead of the October the 5th local government elections in Rivers State, Labour Party has denied fielding multiple candidates. In an interview with correspondent Ibi Ruwari, the party's state chairman Hilda Dokubo dismissed claims that factions within the party led to the selection of separate candidates. Mrs. Dokubo said the party would speak out if it discovered that the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission was acting selectively in its dealings with political parties. She said this in response to allegations that some political parties had not adhered to the Commission's timetable.
It's for all of us as Rivers people to ask ourselves, they conducted their own primaries, have they presented their members, and that. If they have done that, so be it. If they haven't, so be it. So Labour Party will surely, we will run our campaigns, we will carry out our political and civic responsibility. If we find out that there is any branding of exclusion, of deprivation, we will speak up and we will take decisions. But until then, what they have done so far at RISEC has followed their calendar.
On his part, Dane Pepple, the former chairman of the party, said following intervention from the party's national leadership, differences were set aside and only one candidate was fielded for the election.
And by the help of the national, we were able to come together to, instead of filing different candidates, we were able to come to a point where, unlike other parties that had issues, they are feeding in different candidates. We didn't do that. We only feed in one candidate. We were able to harmonize because it will not be fair for us to A filing candidate, B filing another candidate. So we just filled in one candidate in all the positions. I think that shows enough maturity on our side to be able to do that. And why we did that is because we believe that most of the candidates we have can win elections.
Mr. Pepple, however, wants RISEC to penalize political parties that violate its timetable.
RISEC, they are prepared for the elections, and RISEC brought out their guidelines and timetables, which I believe that they should be strict in penalizing those persons or those parties that didn't follow those guidelines. The truth is, they know the people that violate such order, and they know how to disqualify such persons. So it's up to RISEC. RISEC is the umpire in this particular elections. They know those that violate the rules. They know those that align with their guidelines which they brought out. So I think RISEC should do that to be fair enough to handle these aspects.
In another development, the Vice President General of the Rivers State Council of Islamic Affairs, Nasser Uwa, says people should not condemn the relationship between religious leaders and politicians, as this can be beneficial to the country. Mr. Uwa, who made a statement today on Nigeria Info's Morning Crossfire, said it can be an avenue for religious leaders to reach out to these governors to ensure they do the right thing as regards the economic situation and development of the state.
Let us not totally condemn relationship between politicians and religious leaders. Some could be very beneficial. We never can know. If I have access to a governor, for instance, and I know there's a particular policy he wants to introduce that I feel to not be very, very good with the people, I can leverage on my contact with him and say, Your Excellency, these other ones are good, though, but this ones, and it will not be good for you and for the people. You never can tell. That intervention can also mitigate or change that policy for the better. Because if he accepts that intervention, we change the policy to suit the people better.
Ms. Aou, however, said that religious leaders have not been as quiet since the economic downturn. He also called on politicians to avoid making derogatory statements at religious houses and advised religious leaders not to give them the platform to do so.
Politicians to come to our places of worship to make a pronouncement. I don't welcome that. I dare say it doesn't happen in our mosques. Dignitaries attend national. Nobody even makes any announcement that the SSG is here or the chief of staff is here or the president. You come, you go and sit down. You don't go to the house of Allah, house of God, to go and make derogatory statements against the people you have been mandated to take care of. It's not good enough.
In other news, some students of Ignatius Ojiri University of Education have commended the management for banning the appointment of course representatives who help lecturers sell textbooks and handouts. In an interview with our correspondent, they accused some course representatives of adding money to the price of recommended textbooks. They also frowned at the sharp practice of lecturers mandating them to buy their materials and encouraging sorting after exams. The students also urged the school management to go beyond memo to full implementation.
We buy textbooks at an outrageous amount. Sometimes we buy some textbooks with almost 8,000 naira, and then by the time we trace the amount down to the bookshop, you observe that the textbooks is just sold at 5,000 naira. Then the lecturers top up their own money plus our cost rep, reaping students who don't even have people who are releasing them through school.
At times, a lecturer might publish a book, then state the price at a range of 4,500. Then the cost rep, instead of 4,500, he'll add a range of 5,000 and sell the book. Then the balance is his. We had 2 different textbooks we bought and we did not see them.
And when it comes down to the sorting of courses after examination, a lot of persons do not actually fail the course, but because the lecturer is trying to extort money from them, they will tell them that they failed the course.
Other students said the absence of class reps will affect the fixing of classes.
Implementation is the main thing. When you have noticed a certain anomaly, and instead of you to deal with it, you are still coming up with that same story of we are going to do this, we are going to do that, without proper implementation, it becomes a tissue paper.
If the school wants to get a bookshop and a book committee to review books before they are kept in the bookshop, and they are being sold direct to students without cost reps adding their own charges, that's fine. But scrapping cost reps, for me, I don't feel like it's a good idea.
They can ban them in the side of selling textbook for lecturers, but for the setting of classes and other things, it will not look nice.
It's going to affect students because there has to be a cost rep. Someone has to fill in that space.
It was gathered that the Senate of the university said all recommended textbooks should be sold only at the university bookshop at approved prices, adding that the university will soon set up a book review committee. We will go for a quick commercial, but still to come. Inmates escape Maiduguri Correctional Center following heavy flooding. Do stay tuned. Welcome back, and now the rest of the newscast. Some stakeholders in the Rumeme Kingdom have frowned at the present day of Islam in Srimas in of Kingdom. Speaking at the break, including Nassau from Ekra is clan Wobo from a Kanta clan and Sisi Chamrumukani and Hule said that the choice people of Rume Kingdom for the stool of Yenwele Rume is praying to him.
The selection of who becomes king in Rumeme Kingdom is done by Rumpakan community in Rumeme Kingdom. Rumpakan people have selected who the king of Rumeme is, and no other person than Honorable Timothy Nsirim.
We are here to make a statement to say that what has been done yesterday, we are not in support of it. The two-thirds of the community is in support of Honorable Timothy Ngbale Nsirim.
Also speaking, CDC Chairman of Rumokpa Kani, Anderson Hule, Ameula Owunda, Andrew Nsirim. I take that again. Also speaking, CDC Chairman of Rumokpa Kani, Anderson Hule, Ameule Owunda, Andrew Nsirim said is the younger brother to Eze Ndamze Nsirim, and that they will challenge the decision of the Rivers State government in court. They also warned that the state government's actions could create uncertainty and urged the government to retract its decision in the interest of peace and development in the kingdom.
We are so surprised. The entire community is in shock because the community have selected in agreement with all the three families that made up the community that Honorable Timothy Nsirim is the new Yenwele of Rumeme.
We will go to court. We will go to court to go and strengthen the matter. Whether is it the governor, Similaye Fubara, that has the right to impose, or is it the Rumeme Council of Chiefs that has the right to select the past apathy of Rumeme, Yenwele Owen Nsirim. It was the Rumakan community that installed him as the Yenwele. Before presentation, what they have done means that they have taken away the powers of Rumakan community to select.
Put on the record, in the next 2-3 weeks, people will say that I will take him to court.
At least 286 inmates have reportedly escaped from the Maiduguri Medium Security Custodial Center following severe flooding in the capital city on Tuesday. Already, the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, is in Maiduguri to assess the flood's impact on the facility. A statement from the spokesman for the service, Umar Abubakar, said the federal government is working to evacuate the correctional center. He assured the public that the service is working with sister security agencies to take the necessary measures to ensure public safety. Still on this, an agripreneur and dairy farmer, Aminu Nyako, says the ongoing flooding in Maiduguri and other riverine areas is devastating. Mr. Nyako said this in an interview on China's television. He said the damage caused by the floods could severely impact the upcoming harvest season and worsen the nation's already fragile food security. Mr. Nyako urged authorities to act quickly to address this issue, saying food security, economic security, and energy security are essential pillars for ensuring national security in any country. We'll go for another commercial break. When we come back, the foreign story. At the international scene, Malaysian authorities today rescued more than 400 children and teenagers suspected of being sexually abused at charity homes run by a prominent Islamic business organization with links to a banned religious sect. Inspector General of Police Razaruddin Hussain, who made this known, said police arrested 171 adults, including Islamic religious teachers, during coordinated raids on 20 premises across 2 Malaysian states. A recap. On the news this evening, you heard the 9 passengers abducted along the Bunny Waterway have been freed. Police say it is investigating the woman accused of child trafficking in Rivers State. At least 286 inmates have escaped the Maiduguri Correctional Center following heavy flooding. On the foreign scene, the Malaysian police have rescued more than 400 minors suspected of being sexually abused at Islamic charity homes. The news was edited by Martha O'Carey. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808 721 7215. I am Kala Dakuru Batabo. Good evening.